Your hair fell down way past your bare shoulders. You wear a gown made from a nearly weightless material that glinted, light reflecting the fire from the torches that lit up the hall. It fit flawlessly. The dress modeled your torso beautifully, complementing your feminine shape. The gown draped past your toes, slightly drifting from your legs. It was the color of lost childhood memories, with patterns that seemed to change the longer it was stared at. Its strapless tie revealed your precious collarbones, wrapping around your smooth, alluring skin. You would have adored your dress if you hadn't been wearing it for any other occasion. Your father, King Jamatin of your kingdom, linked his arm through yours, giving you a stern look. You sighed as you heard the harp music begin through the Kirishima temple doors. The doors were pulled open by two scantily clad women, one with bright blue hair, the other with red. You had to stop yourself from frowning. Why couldn't Prince hhhhoooo marry one of them instead? It's good for our kingdom, your father had told you over and over again. You knew he was right. You've seen too many friends coming back from war with the Dragon kingdom burned and wooden from the battle. You were just upset that it had to come to you being married off to someone you only met once. Many men had given up their lives for your kingdom, so now you had to give up yours for any hope of peace. Your father slowly walked you down the aisle as the ground rose for you. To your left, family members and noble people were smiling supportingly at you. You heard the whispers of beautiful and exquisite, which didn't numb your nerves. To your right, strange men and women adorned in foreign scarves and skirts stood tall, nodding at you as you walked by. This kingdom's people were not modest in the way you dressed. They showed off their muscles and their scars with pride. The whispers you heard from that side were in language you did not understand. The man your father placed you next, your betrothed, wasn't any less modest than the people in his kingdom. His chest was bare with ceremonial patterns painted into his toned body, and he wore black loose-fitting pants that had a crimson scarf wrapped around his hips. His scarlet hair was adorned in gold and rubies. The gold ran down his face and adorned his jaw with spikes that resembled teeth poking upwards. If you weren't frightened before, you were sure as hell you were now. A high priestess from your kingdom and a shaman from his was to marry the both of you. The priestess invited the room to settle. As she spoke, her words seemed to blur and swirl around your head. You couldn't keep up with anything she was saying. You couldn't help up with your own breath. Prince hhhhoooo's brows knitted together as he watched your eyes dart from his to the priestess and all around the room. When the priestess was finished talking, she bowed her head and took a step back. The shaman was next to speak. He held his hands high, and the crowd on the dragon side stood. I'm going to ask that the prince and princess embrace for the ceremony. The dragon prince held out his arm to you, and you placed a delicate hand on his forearm. His callous fingers wrapped around your arms supportively. In union, the crowd let out a low, guttural grunt. The shaman began to speak in their native tongue, an animistic, nearly growling language. And you know, at this point of the ceremony, all you had to do was keep eye contact with your groom. His eyes matched the rubies in his hair, and as the shaman continues to speak, they seemed to get brighter, and before you knew it, you were entranced, taken in by the story of his people, of his family's descendant, and who he was and how he got there. The story told all through his eyes. When the shaman finished speaking, the crowd stopped their feet twice and let out another grunt. The shaman took a torch in his hand and turned to you, spoke in the common tongue. When a light dissipated, he gestured towards a round marble table with white logs sticking out of the table's indent. That is when the two of you kiss, binding the two of you together, uniting your kingdoms. Do you understand, princess? For the good of your kingdom. Not looking away from hhhhoooo's ruby orbs, you nod. And you, Prince hhhhhoooo? He nods. The shaman lowers the torch and the white logs burst into flames. There is a chant like humming coming from the Kirishima people as the prince's hands tighten around your arm. His free hand finds your back, pulls you towards him. The reflection of the fire danced off his pupils as his face grew closer to yours. Not able to stare too much longer, you close your eyes. His lips greet yours, and for a moment you are taken back by the heat of the kiss. His hands leave your arm and kisses your face, pressing deeper into you. You open your mouth slightly and kiss him back. The crowd's humming grows louder and you feel as though the embers are burning in your stomach. You fight the urge to pull away as the prince grabs your chin. Temperature is only rising when his scorching tongue slides in through your soft lips. He pulls away and you breathe out the black smoke. Embarrassed, you cover your mouth. He grabs your hand and turns to the crowd, lifting your intertwined fingers into the air. Your family's side claps, while the Kirishima side begins to yell and cheer, the prince joining in with a triumph roar, completing the ceremony. After the wedding was had, shows were put on for the both of your now joint families. People danced and sang, drank, and congratulated the future king and queen. More times than you could count, you were offered wine or LA to ease your nerves, for what you refused. The inevitable alone time with your husband. Bitterly dehydrated, you only drank water. When the festivities finished, your father and the king of the Kirishima people temple take your husband aside, and you are led by the woman with the blue hair who opened the temple doors for you at the beginning of your wedding to your new bedroom. New sheets finally made for this special occasion. The woman runs a seductive finger across your bed and walks over to you slowly, swaying her hips. "I am to dress you now," she says, laying her long fingers on your bare shoulders. You blush. Dressing you meant undressing you, and fitting you into a gown to be worn for your husband. You had been used to being put to bed by Lita back home, a chambermaid you've come to trust. But the woman before you, who was more than a head taller than you did not know, and you definitely did not trust. "You're nervous," she purrs, brushing your hair. "Is this your first time?" You gulp.
"Yes,"
you say, avoiding her piercing gaze. She chuckles. "Interesting. I suppose that is to be expected of a princess, but I often wonder about the social life of the foreigners. Everything is free range to them. You could have taken whoever or whatever you pleased, and quickly dispose of them, and slaughter off anyone who would dare speak a word of it. You've missed your opportunity." She waits for you to respond, and when you didn't, she continues. "Dragons made for life," she puts simply, and waits for it to sink in. You part your lips and she smiles, almost snake-like. "For life? The finality of everything, the wedding, this kingdom, the prince," hits you like a gobstone into the head. You knew this. You knew that your future was given up as soon as you agreed to marry the prince. You take a moment to yourself and finally say,
"So Prince Jur hasn't either?"
"No," she says firmly. "But I would not put that against him. Jura can be a bit of a brute, and this poor fragile flesh of yours," she says, pulling on your shoulder. "Well, I won't be surprised if he has you torn to shreds by the end of the night." Your face goes wide, but your skin seized with anger. You push her hand away from you.
"I think I can handle changing on my own, thank you."
Still grinning, she takes a step towards the door. "Sit yourself," she says. "I was only trying to be nice, but I suppose it is all for naught. There is no way out of this." He has already marked you when he gave you that steaming kiss. Do yourself a favor and have some wine before he gets in. You're going to need it. With that, she throws her long blue locks over her shoulders and stirs out of the bedroom.
"Monster!"
You think as you pace around the bed.
"Witch!"
Your hand grabs the bedpost. You wish you could throw something. You're so angry. What a warm welcome into your new kingdom. Your eyes fix on a bottle of wine sitting on a silver platter on top of a dresser. You huff.
"Why not?"
Uncorking the bottle, you pour it greedily into a crystal glass. Didn't give it a second to breathe. The dark liquid is already sliding down your throat. It is bitter, but you didn't mind it. To calm your nerves, you remember. So many people asking, more like to ease your temper. Before you knew it, the glass is empty and you're pouring another. You hear someone clear the throat at the door and you turn. Prince Ojiro is leaning against the doorframe with arms across his bare chest. The paint has been scrubbed away from his body, and his once spiked up hair fell down to his shoulders. He was no longer wearing the headpiece that ran your nerves into the ground, and his loose fitted pants were replaced by silky bottoms. Your heart began to thrum in your chest, and your hand holding your glass starts to shake. Slowly, he walks over to you, taking the glass from your hand, and he gulps it down, eyeing you the entire time. When he is finished, he wipes his lips on the back of his hand. You haven't changed. That might have been the first thing he ever said to you. You narrow your eyes and grab the glass back, slamming it down on the platter. You pour more wine into the glass and fill up the second glass, and push into his chest. The back of your fingers press into his skin, so warm. Anya was supposed to help you, he says, gently taking his glass from your hands. Anya, what a pretty name for such a disaster of a person.
She has helped me plenty.
You sarcastically bite out. He closes his eyes and sigh. You take note of the ring scar he has on the lid of his eye. You might have thought it was cute before knowing that the prince was a bit of a brute. He points to the folding screen and says, your gun should be there. No done hiding behind the folding screen, you take a deep breath, hiding from the inevitable. You think to yourself, it's one night you have to get through. Just one night. You pull the red silk gown over you. It fits snugly against your curves, and that made you all the more nervous. The top had straps that were supposed to be wrapped around your neck and to be tied in the back, and you struggled feverishly to figure out how. A soft voice called from the other side of the screen. Do you need help? He asked, and he throws to your cheeks.
No!
You call back, clawing helplessly at your back. Damn gown, stupid night, horrible Anya! Tears threaten to fall from your eyes. Yujiro is silent, and you wish he would ask again. Giving up, you step out and away from the screen. Yujiro is staring into his glass, and when he looks up, his eyes widen. Oh, it looks...
I do need help.
You gesture to your neck.
Will you?
You couldn't tell if he was blushing or if it was just the hue of his skin. Still, he nods and makes his way over to you. Holding up your hair, you turn for him and he wraps the straps easily over your soft neck, tying a knot. You let your hair fall down over the spot where it was tied. You both stand there for a moment before he lays a hand on your arm, raising you up to your shoulder. He pulls your hair over to the side and lays a gentle kiss against your shoulder blade. You expected his lips to burn as they did for the wedding, but his lips were soft, kisses tentative, no scorching sensation to be had. He places a hand on your hip, swaying you slightly. As he kisses reaches your neck. You catch yourself sighing as you feel his tongue on the back of your ear. You almost forget what Anya had said when you feel his teeth graze your lobe. Sharp, poor fragile flesh. Your vision begins to blur. I won't be surprised if he has you torn to shreds by the end of the night. The room begins to darken. The hand in your hips begins to pull you on your gown, hacking it up. You imagine the man behind you as a monster, readying you to be eaten alive, torn to shreds. Your body goes limp and you begin to fall.